and the work in the world. Jesus' word and works. All of his life and death made God known in the world. From beginning to end, John bears witness to the gift that God gives the world in the incarnation of Jesus. But how would you know Jesus if you haven't dared the cross? The book of John outlines many studies. It talks about John giving the baptism, the testimony to Jesus. It talks about the gathering of the first disciples. It talks about the beginning of Jesus' ministry. It talks about the wedding at Cana. It talks about Jesus in Jerusalem. It talks about the cleansing in the temple. It talks about Jesus in Nicodemus. It talks about even Jesus when John gave his final testimony. It talks about Jesus outside the place of Judea. It talks about Jesus in Samaria. It talks about even Jesus healing the royal official's son. It even talks about the controversy over the Sabbath healing. It talks about the conflict and how opposition grows. It talks about the bread of life. It talks about the healing of the blind man. It talks about the raising of Lazarus. It talks about the anointing. It talks about the farewell meal and the foot washing. It talks about the farewell discourse. It talks about God's farewell. It goes on and it talks about Jesus being arrested, his trial and his death. But here we are at the crucifixion and his burial. John, the 19th chapter, gives several scenes. Scene 1, it talks about again Judas, the religious authorizes Pilate, the representative of the Roman government, and the Jewish religious authorities. They were the ones responsible for this case. The Jewish authorities could stone Jesus for the religious charge of blasphemy. It goes on to talk about scene 2, Pilate's first interrogation of Jesus. Who do you say you are? What's your purpose again? Why are you here? It goes on and talks about